Welcome everyone to the game between Jorden Van Foreest and Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus. Yaz is now rated about 2700, which is incredible. He's just 14 years old and already has crossed 2700. That means he's almost a year ahead of rest of the players who had crossed 2700 as being the youngest, like Wei, Magnus, Gukesh and so on. That's how talented the boy is. But Jordan is in great shape. He is already 2735 on the rating list, and he's definitely someone whom you cannot really underestimate. The game starts off with pawn to d4, and Jordan does that always, like he plays with his left hand, writes with his right hand, and knight f6 by Yagiz. Pawn to c4, and Yagiz plays pawn to e6, opening up his bishop. I'm always very excited to see Jordan's games, especially from the opening perspective, because he's one of the experts in this domain. d5 played. We have the Queen's Gambit declined, which is so popular. And now Jordan goes for the Catalan. And I'm interested to see what Yagiz comes up with. You can play your bishop to g2, castles, but Yagiz goes bishop e7. He could have also played for the open Catalan by taking on c4, but he goes for the closed system with bishop e7. Bishop goes to g2. And now black castles. You can think of it as one of the most solid ways to play. You bring your knight out, your bishop here, you castle. Yes, your bishop on c8 is a bit blocked, and the next phase of the game is going to be about it. Can you activate this bishop? So now pawn takes pawn leads to the open Catalan, c6 leads to the closed Catalan. What is Yagiz going to do? He takes on c4. And the queen comes to c2 to take back the pawn, and a6 in order to meet queen c4 with b5 and bishop b7. Remember, we're talking about this bishop. So a4 played in order to stop b5, because now take would mean that the rook is hanging, and b6, this is lesser played than the more common move bishop d7 trying to come to c6. But b6, knight e5, now attacking the rook a7. It's a bit weird, this entire way of playing for black, but Yagiz seems to have worked it out. There's a game of Boris Gelfand in this position. And the bishop comes to b7. We have pawn to e4. And now knight to d7. Ooh, he goes knight c6 even. Very interesting. So knight takes c6. By the way, there's a very old game of Hubner versus Spassky as well. Bishop takes c6. And now knight c3, defending the pawn. You could not have taken this because of the e4 pawn hanging. So queen takes c4. Here, knight c3, bishop goes back to a8. And you can see Yagiz time. He has 1 hour 27 minutes. So he's in his preparation. And now Jordan has 1 hour 7 minutes. And Yagiz plays queen to c8 to come outside of this d file, and will now play the move c5 at the right time. I'm curious how Jordan's going to continue here. And he goes queen e2 in order to pick up the pawn on c4. And Yagiz plays pawn to c5, a bold move. Well, taking on c4 does not make much sense because of knight g4 attacking the bishop here. So he first goes d5, pushing through the pawn in the center, threatening d6 and e5. So pawn takes pawn, and you take back with the pawn now. Pawn takes pawn, and you go Rook to d8, putting pressure from all three sides. And there's enough defense as well. Queen takes on c4. So as of now, white's position definitely looks very preferable, right? Nice pieces. Pawn on d5 is a passer. Bishop comes to f4 square. I mean, where is black's counterplay? Maybe bishop d6, but he comes back bishop f8. I believe bishop d6 takes would be pretty good for white. So that's why bishop f8, rook e1, now taking the e file, trying to get the other rook to d1. But for the time being, the d5 pawn becomes a little soft. You see three defenders now, and Yaz is so alert. He plays this move b5, and the point is he's trying to deflect one of the two pieces from the d5 square. Queen takes b5, and now rook takes rook. First takes here, you take with the rook, and now bishop d5, knight d5 both seem like a possibility. Takes, knight takes d5. Rook takes a8, taken here by Jorden. Just trying to light up the game a bit. Queen a8, but it's all under control. Yaz, if you think about it, has managed to equalize so completely in this game, bishop d5. It just goes to show how strong he is. Rook d5, knight d5, queen d5. And this is just pure equal. I mean, you could have gotten some chance because of this pin, but then you can counter pin it. So b3 played. Queen check. King g2, queen check. Repetition coming in. And one of the things that I've understood about these youngsters as they are moving on to top players, and a good sign is when they can actually hold their strong opponents for an easy draw with the black pieces. That's actually not easy. And if a youngster starts to achieve that, that means he's becoming a very rounded player. And that's what Yaz has managed to do here. Both Yaz and Jorden looking at it, that it's a threefold repetition. And he's saying like, I'm going to go king g1. And they agree to a draw. And so a very, very good play. And also they discuss the game, discuss it after the game. I personally think that for Jorden, he got a decent position out of the opening. This b6 move is a very interesting thing that you can actually study. And maybe this is the point where Jorden could have made slight improvement after d5 takes, queen c4. I think this is the position, and maybe here a bit more accuracy. But Yaz was so good today. And well, we are all looking forward to Yaz taking on more world-class players in this tournament.